pictured, police say they believe they have found the body of Gaia Pope after an intensive search of Swanage. Gaia Pope's sister breaks down as she described her deceased 19-year-old sibling as the light of my life after police revealed they found a body near a pile of clothes approximately a mile from her home. Detectives have confirmed they were confident they have found the missing teenager after a body was recovered from a coastal path in Swanage, near to where items of her clothing were found on Thursday. Dorset police said the discovery was made at 3 p.m. yesterday, but the announcement came 5 hours later. It is understood the delay could be due to identification issues. In an emotional interview last night, Gaia's sister and cousin broke down on television as they thanked the army of volunteers who helped in the huge search operation. Speaking to ITV News, older sister Clara Pope Sutherland said, "I just want to tell everybody that every minute of your hard work has been absolutely worth it." Clara said she would always refer to her sister in present tense and emotionally said she would never stop describing herself as one of 3 sisters now that Gaia was found deceased. The elder sibling said, "She is, I'm not going to say was and never will, the absolute light of my life. So beautiful, so emotionally wise and intelligent and so passionate and artistic and creative and understanding. And I will always, always, always be one of 3. Always one of 3. And I just want to thank everybody. Everyone. Every hug, every message has been, one of 3, that's all I have to say." Mariana Pope Wiedemann, Gaia's cousin added, "We want to thank each and every one of you for everything you've done. If there is one ray of light in this nightmare, it is the compassion, humanity and community spirit that you've shown over the last 10 days. Your dedication and selflessness for a girl that many of you don't even know has been staggering and one of the few things that kept us going." This afternoon the emergency services found Gaia's body. "We are absolutely devastated and unable to put those feelings of loss into words." The 19-year-old teenager went missing on Tuesday, November 7 and was last seen in a distressed state at the home of her childhood friend Nathan Elsey. He was arrested along with his grandmother Rosemary Dinch, 71, and Uncle Paul Elsey, 49, on suspicion of murder, but they were later all released under investigation. Gaia's family accused police of keeping them in the dark about the investigation after they revealed they only discovered the news about the arrests through social media. On Saturday night police said they were confident they had found Gaia after 11 days of searching. "We are absolutely devastated," Gaia's cousin Mariana Pope Wiedemann and sister Clara Pope said they were heartbroken following the tragic news on Saturday night. "She is the light of my life," Gaia's younger sister Clara broke down in an emotional interview as she described how her sister was passionate, creative, and emotionally wise. Tragic search. Gaia's emotional father, Richard Sutherland, publicly thanks and paid tribute to more than 1,000 volunteers who turned out to find his missing daughter on Saturday. Detective Superintendent Paul Kessel said, "Although the body has yet to be formally identified, we are confident that we have found Gaia." He said, "Her family have been informed and are being supported by specially trained officers. Our thoughts remain with all of her family and friends at this very traumatic time. They have requested privacy and that we make no further media releases at this point. The coroner has been notified and further forensic examination will continue. This will guide the investigation in respect of the circumstances of the death, which at this time remains unexplained." The devastating news came just hours after 1,000 people descended on Swanage to take part in a huge search to find the missing student. Gaia's father, Richard Sutherland, was among them and personally thanked members of the public who had gathered at Dalston Country Park. Speaking earlier on Saturday, he said, "I just want to say a massive thank you for coming out. It is very heartwarming and the support gives us a lot of hope." The efforts had been organized by the Find Gaia group on Facebook and saw volunteers gather at the country park, near the main beach and to the north of the town looking for Miss Pope, who suffered from severe epilepsy. Since she disappeared on Tuesday, November 7, hundreds of missing person posters have been distributed across the county. "Mass search," a police officer told Gaia's family he has never seen such a big operation for a missing person in the South before. "Police investigation," A body of a woman who police believe to be Gaia was found approximately a mile from her home and near to where a pile of her clothes were recovered on Thursday. Tragically, just yesterday, Gaia's mother said she had not given up hope her daughter would be found alive, saying, "I believe miracles can happen." In a message posted on social media, Ms. Pope said, "I believe in this community and I believe miracles can happen. I am holding on to hope, along with Gaia's sisters and the whole family who are my strength. Please hold on with us. My eternal thanks to everyone who is out there searching for my little girl." Earlier, Mr. Sutherland said he feared his daughter's epilepsy may have played a part in her disappearance, as she had been warned by doctors that she was at risk of sudden death from the condition. Detectives have not yet revealed details over suspected cause of death but said a file was being prepared for the coroner as investigations continue. Detective Superintendent said further forensic examinations will continue where the body and clothes were recovered. Related articles previous. 1 Next. She stripped off because she was hot, then vanished. For God's sake, he was working all day. Father of third member of same family is released on police bail after. Share this article. Share script dm.later, bundle, function, if, dm.rotator, new dm.rotator, p34, pages eyes, 1, page count, 1.0, active class, active, rotate, false, $, number p34.share.on, click, function, dms.facebook.post related. This will guide the investigation in respect of the circumstances of the death, which at this time remains unexplained, he said. I would like to thank the community for their support and understanding while this large-scale investigation continues and their efforts in looking for Gaia. Detectives arrested and released 3 people, a 71-year-old woman, a 19-year-old man and a 49-year-old man, named locally as Paul Elsie. Miss Pope had not been seen since about 4 p.m. on November 7 in Manor Gardens, Swanage. An hour earlier she was captured on CCTV buying an ice cream inside St. Michael's garage in the town, having been driven there by a relative. She was said to be wearing a red checked shirt with white buttons, grey and white woven leggings and white trainers. The black jacket she had on was recovered from an address in Manor Gardens. Yesterday police searches concluded at 2 properties in Manor Gardens which Greg Elsie confirmed belonged to his ex-wife Rosemary Dinch. Miss Pope's father Richard Sutherland joined volunteers who had come to search Swanage this afternoon, hours before the tragic discovery. More than 1,000 members of the public turned out in Swanage on Saturday to help with the search for Gaia. Gaia's aunt, Hannah Sutherland, led one of the search teams on Saturday as hundreds of volunteers trudged through the countryside to find the missing teenager. On Friday night, one of the suspects arrested reportedly went into hiding after he was released under police bail. Paul Elsie, 49, who detectives had been trying to track down since Tuesday, has not spoken publicly, but his father has protested his innocence on his behalf. His father, Greg Elsie, 69, said that his son was in Weymouth when Gaia vanished in Swanage, Dorset. He told Mail Online earlier this week, "I'm absolutely bewildered that he was arrested. I've got no idea why he was taken. I mean, for God's sake, he was working all day in Weymouth when Gaia went missing, he had nothing to do with it. He lives with his mother Rosemary and takes care of her, he goes back there each night, that's the only link he's got with it." Police took him in and he said, "Look, what on earth am I doing here? I've got nothing to do with this. He's staying with a friend at the moment, just chilling out. I saw him last night and he's all right. I've got no way of getting hold of him, they've taken his phone, they've taken everyone's phones. It's ruined Rosemary and Nathan's life, she was just being nice on the day, all police had to do was say to her they want to ask her a few questions and that would be fine, but they arrested her." Paul's family accused the police of a witch hunt after 3 family members were arrested in a matter of days and then all released. He added, "Paul is fine, but all this attention isn't fair, please just give him some space. What I will say is the way the police have handled this is terrible, it's shocking. He also refused to confirm if Nathan and his grandmother Rosemary, who were both initially arrested, were still in the house, but said the keys to their home in Swanage, Dorset, have been handed back. It comes as a massive community search gets underway on Saturday in a desperate bid to find the missing teenager. Hundreds of people set off from 3 separate locations around Swanage, fanning out in every direction around the Victorian seaside resort. Pictured, Gaia's aunt, Hannah Sutherland. Volunteers searched across the rolling hills and downland of the picturesque Isle of Purbeck and covered cliff paths, woodland, and heathland. Hundreds of people set off from 3 separate locations around Swanage, fanning out in every direction around the Victorian seaside resort at midday on Saturday. The volunteers trudged across the rolling hills and downland of the picturesque Isle of Purbeck and covered cliff paths, woodland, and heathland. In a direct appeal to her daughter, hours before the tragic discovery was revealed, Gaia's mother, Natasha, we know you are having difficulty getting home and making contact. The whole world is looking for you. It's just a matter of time before we find you, sweetheart. We love you, you be strong and do what you can, sweetie. Take heart, we are coming for you. The main search began at just after midday at Dulston Country Park on the Swanage coastline. There were around 300 volunteers present when they set off, among them Mr. Sutherland and Gaia's aunt Hannah Sutherland. Volunteers, many wearing high-vis jackets, crawled through shrubland, battled boggy ground and crawled through holes trying to find anything that may help locate Gaia. The appeal for people to search reached far and wide, with one volunteer traveling nearly 300 miles to help. Although not everyone was able to physically search, people were desperate to lend a hand in any way they can. Among those to help was Ronnie Taylor, 57, a local taxi driver from Swanage. Police perform a search in the open space above the coast near to Dulston Country Park in Swanage, Dorset, near where detectives investigating the disappearance of Gaia Pope. Having worked until 3 a.m. on Friday night, he spent his morning off offering volunteers lifts to the search free of charge. He said Gaia's disappearance had touched the whole community and said he just wanted to help. Mr. Taylor said, "If I get people up there quicker, they can get looking quicker. It's as simple as that. I worked until about 3 o'clock last night and was up most of the night thinking about it, so this morning I decided to come down and see if I could help." Also present at the search was Richard Drax, the Conservative MP for South Dorset. Earlier, Gaia's cousin, Mariana Pope Wiedemann, said, "A police officer told me he has never been such a big operation for a missing person in this part of the southwest ever. Gaia and her sisters and me grew up in this area, and at times like this you realize how lucky you are to have such a community. So many people have told me if it were my little girl, I would like to think the whole community would be looking for her, and that's what's been happening." Holding out for a miracle, Natasha Pope, 53, made a heartbreaking statement on Friday night saying she was still hoping she would find her daughter alive. Hundreds of volunteers joined the search on Saturday to find the missing 19-year-old. Volunteers were asked to give up their time and help find Gaia after a plea was posted on the Find Gaia Facebook page. A police officer issues instructions to hundreds of volunteers on Saturday at Dulston Country Park, which is one of 3 meeting points for the search. As the hunt for the 19-year-old enters its 11th day, her mother Natasha Pope last said she was still holding on to hope that her daughter will be found alive and well. Detectives had been trying to track him down since he went missing on Tuesday afternoon, a week after Gaia disappeared. They seized his VW Golf and obtained a warrant to search his father's £460,000 bungalow in Romsey, Hampshire, on Tuesday. Mr. Elsey, 49, was the third person to be arrested and released by Dorset police over Gaia's disappearance after she vanished from Swanage, Dorset, on November 7. His mother, 71-year-old Rosemary Dintz, as well as nephew Nathan Elsey, 19, a school friend of Gaia's, were all held by police but released under investigation. Mrs. Dintz, who shares a first-floor flat with her son Paul, was the last person to see the missing teenager alive. Police and other search and rescue agencies perform a search in the open space above the coast near to Swanage in Dorset as they continue to investigate the disappearance of Gaia Pope yesterday. A massive community search was organized for Saturday at noon, with hundreds of volunteers aiding in the hunt for the missing Tianger. Mr. Elsie's father Greg, 69, said the family have been handed back the keys to their flats in Swanage, which have been examined by forensic officers over the last 4 days. He added, "My family has totally been the victim of a witch hunt. They should start looking elsewhere. I think of the public money which has been wasted, which could have been spent searching for Gaia and finding those clothes a long time ago. I will tell Paul it is nice to have him home. I don't think there is any problem now with them going home. We will soldier on." Speaking out, Greg Elsie, pictured outside his home in West Wellow, near Romsey, Hampshire, on Friday night, said he felt dreadfully sorry for Gaia's family. A motorist claims this grainy footage, recorded just outside Gaia's home village of Langton Matravers in Dorset at 11:35 p.m. on November 7, could show the teenager being dropped off. Police on Thursday cordoned off a section of the southwest coast path around 200 yards inland from the cliff edge, between the beauty spots of Anvil Point and Dancing Ledge. Timeline: The hunt for Gaia Pope. November 7. 2:55 p.m. Miss Pope is seen on CCTV buying an ice cream from a garage on Valley Road, Swanage. 3:39 p.m. The last confirmed sighting of Miss Pope, on Morrison Road in Swanage. November 8. Dorset police issue a public appeal for help to find Miss Pope. Miss Pope's family say they are frantic with worry and appeal for her to contact them. November 10. Dorset police carry out vehicle stops in Swanage as part of their search for Miss Pope. Detectives release CCTV footage of Miss Pope on Morrison Road shortly before her disappearance. November 13. Search warrants are carried out at 2 addresses in Swanage, with 3 vehicles seized. A 19-year-old man and 71-year-old woman, who are known to Miss Pope, are arrested on suspicion of her murder. November 14. Miss Pope's family release a statement vowing to find their darling girl. Dorset police release the 19-year-old man and 71-year-old woman under investigation. November 15. Dorset police release CCTV images of Miss Pope buying an ice cream on the day of her disappearance. November 16. 10:28 am, a member of the public finds women's clothes in a field near Swanage. Afternoon, a 49-year-old man, from Swanage, is arrested on suspicion of murder. November 17. Miss Pope's father and cousin say her epilepsy may have played a part in her disappearance. Evening, a 49-year-old man, from Swanage, is bailed under investigation. November 18. Hundreds of volunteers participate in search to find Miss Pope. At 3 p.m., police say specialist teams discovered a body they are confident is the missing student. It is terrible for Gaia's family. I feel dreadfully sorry for them, I really do. I know if I was in their position I would be devastated. At least we knew our family members were coming home. A female relative of Emily Brylack, a close friend of Nathan's, said, "I have heard about the arrests, I just don't believe it. He is a very quiet young man. I have known Nathan for quite a while and he is good friends with my granddaughter. They go to the same college. He comes here and I take her to his house. He is a very gentle young man who doesn't go out. I just don't believe it." Earlier this week, Gaia's family criticized police, saying they were being kept in the dark by Dorset police. They said they were not told of arrests on suspicion of murder of 3 members of one family and had only heard of them through the media. A family friend told The Times, "We don't understand what the police are doing. They say someone has been arrested on suspicion of murder, then in the next sentence that they are hopeful Gaia will be found alive and well. We also know from what people have told us that they have been knocking on doors asking people if they have seen a couple, a man with heavy tattoos and a woman with lots of jewelry, acting suspiciously." On Saturday, hundreds of volunteers from the Find Gaia Facebook page assembled at midday to conduct line searches of the rugged landscape around the Isle of Purbeck Peninsula, an area popular with weekend day trippers. Gaia's mother Natasha, 53, said, "I believe in this community and I believe miracles can happen. I am holding on to hope, along with Gaia's sisters and the whole family who are my strength. Please hold on with us. My eternal thanks to everyone who is out there searching for my little girl." Gaia's cousin Mariana Pope Wiedemann, 26, also said that Gaia rarely gets through a day without a seizure, adding, "There's been times when she's not recognized us for a short time afterwards, not really understood where she is. That's a big part of what's made this case so complicated." On Thursday, police discovered items of women's clothing similar to those worn by Gaia strewn in a field some 200 yards from a 70-feet clifftop. Last night police said Gaia's family confirmed they matched clothes worn by Gaia. They were discovered some 2 miles south of her family home in Langton-Matravers. There were fears the clothes may have been dumped there at some point over the last few days. The area was searched multiple times by police, coast guards, and volunteers in the days after Gaia disappeared, but on each occasion nothing was found. Police and coast guards first searched the clifftop between Anvil Point and Dancing Ledge near Swanage, Dorset, the day after Gaia went missing. And according to a spreadsheet of search locations on the Find Gaia Facebook page, the area of Priest's Way, next to the field where the clothing was found, was scoured by volunteers on November 9. Last pictures, Gaia Pope was seen buying an ice cream at a petrol station in Valley Road between Langton-Matravers and Swanage at around 2:55 p.m. on Tuesday, November 7. Shortly after, she disappeared. Aspiring 19-year-old actor Nathan Elsey, who appeared in Dunkirk, seen leaving Gregory Elsey's house on Friday morning. Gaia is from Langton-Matravers but had been staying with her aunt in Swanage, a few streets away from the home of Rosemary Dinch and Nathan and Paul Elsey, because she was concerned about the release of a man convicted of assault 2 years ago. Coast guards picked their way through brambles and bushes on a clifftop as the hunt for missing teenager Gaia Pope entered its 10th day. Mrs. Dinch, 71, was arrested hours after she was interviewed on local TV, where she described how Gaia pounded on her door, saying, "Help me, help me." Pictured, Gray Elsey's home in Romsey, Hampshire, where Rosemary Dinch and their grandson Nathan have been staying, as their home in Swanage is under investigation. Earlier this week, Gaia's aunt Talia Pope, 59, told Mail Online there was still no evidence to prove she is dead and police have not found a body. She said, "We are just searching until we find her. The search is continuing for my niece. It's ongoing at the moment. It's inconclusive. But we are just searching until we find her. We've got a long way to go yet." 2 days before her disappearance, Gaia posted a message on Instagram that said she was worried about being shut up and put in a cell with the #number sexual assault, and one follower urged her to run somewhere safe. On November 11, more members of the public went back to look at a large area near to the Dilston Coast Path, when again nothing was found. A family friend described the discovery of the clothes, which included a white trainer, as very odd and said it raised questions of when they were left there. It is around an hour's walk from where Gaia, who suffers from epilepsy, was last seen in Swanage, Dorset, and 2 miles south of her family home in the village of Langton-Matravers. Gaia was wearing grey and white woven leggings, white trainers, and a red checked shirt with white buttons when she vanished. Gaia's cousin Mariana told the BBC, "It's been a profoundly shocking 24 hours. The discovery of these clothes was incredibly distressing for the whole family. We don't know what they mean as of yet. We are just desperate for answers." Gaia, left with Russell Brand and Wright on social media, is epileptic and also badly affected by a traumatic incident 2 years ago, her family has said.